again after a fall? This is a very important question. A lot of older people worry not only about falling, but about getting up again after they've had a fall. In the 30 years I've been a physical therapist, I've been asked this question over and over. I usually tell people it's much better to avoid a fall than to learn how to get up after a fall. But I realize this is very important information. A lot of people are injured by falls, especially if they fall down and can't get up and are by themselves. So in this video, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to get up after a fall. The first method, which is definitely the easiest, is called the chair method. So the first step in the chair method, which is the most important step, is to pause. If you've had a fall, the very first thing you want to try to do is not get up off the ground. Chances are, if you try to get up too soon, you risk falling again and making the injury even worse. So the most important first step is to assess where you are. First, you want to feel how you are. Are you injured? Are you bleeding? Are you even able to try to stand up again? But the other part of this is to look around the room and assess where you are and what you're going to use to get yourself back up again. The best thing to get back up again is something that's low, like a chair, a couch, a bed. If you're in the bathroom, you can even use a toilet. You want to find the lowest chair-like object in the room that's close by to you. The next step is to roll onto your side. And when you do this, you have to be careful, because if your blood pressure is very high or you're very excited, some people can be very winded by doing this. So you want to just take your time. Once you're on your side, the next step is to roll onto your hands and knees. So you want to have your hands flat on the ground, your knees on the ground, because now you're going to crawl to this low sitting chair. Your chair, a couch, an ottoman, anything that you can use to get your hands up onto. When you get to this object, you want to bring your hands up on top of it and press down onto it to lift up your one foot. Once one foot is squarely on the ground, now you want to push again and get both feet up off the ground. You don't want to stand up at this point. You just want both legs to be straight so that your bottom is up off the ground and you're still leaning on the chair. Then pivot so that you're sitting on the chair. You don't want to try to stand all the way up, because there's a good chance that your blood pressure can drop, or you could become dizzy and fall again. So the most important thing is, once you're sitting, to pause again in this position in the chair before you try to stand up all the way. It's very important to do all of these steps as slowly and carefully as you can, because statistics show that once you've had one fall, you can easily have another fall. So I'm going to go through it a little bit quicker this time. The first step after you fall is to assess where you are. Think about if you're injured, think about where you're going to be going to. You're looking for the lowest seated chair or seating thing that's nearby you. The next step is to roll onto your side, then roll onto your hands and knees. Your hands are flat on the ground, your knees are on the ground, and you're going to crawl to the nearest chair or couch. Once you're there, you're going to put your hands squarely on the couch, lift one leg up and put your foot flat on the ground, so now you're half kneeling. Then you're going to push up onto the chair, bringing your other leg up straight, but not standing up. Now you want to quickly pivot onto the chair and sit yourself. Once you're seated, you want to rest for a few minutes before you try to stand up. Now, sometimes for a variety of reasons, you maybe don't have a chair or a couch nearby, or you're just not strong enough to do it. So I'm going to show you another method that I've taught people over the years, but this method requires something nearby to grab onto and build up. So you can use books, you could use a couch cushion, pillows, anything nearby, a box, anything nearby that you can scoot yourself on top of. So this method is the backward scoot method. And what you're going to do is get a couple of couch cushions, put them down on the ground, you're going to scoot yourself up onto that cushion. Then if you have it, if you have books, in this case we're using these colored mats, anything you can use to pull yourself up on top of, you want to make the stack a little bit taller. The more you can get yourself up off of the ground, the better you'll be after a fall. So in this case, we're going to build almost a little staircase to get ourselves back into a chair. So we're going to put 2 cushions down and then 4 cushions and then try to get ourselves back into the chair. So this method is not the same as the first method, which really will get you back up off the ground with just a chair or a couch nearby. This method requires a little bit more ingenuity, and you have to have these items nearby or at least within reach to do it. But if you've fallen on the ground, you may find yourself in a situation where there really is no choice, and what we're showing you might be the only way to get up off the ground. Now, the last thing I want to say to you is people being on the ground is a very dangerous situation. Older people have a lot of changes to their bone structure, to their muscles. Being on the ground can be very detrimental for them. It can limit their breathing. It actually, especially if the floor is cold and hard, the longer you're on the ground, the harder it is to recover from a fall. So the most important thing I can tell you is if you're not able to do either of these methods, or you try these methods and it doesn't work, you really want to call for help as quickly as possible. If you have a cell phone, don't hesitate in calling. If you can't get a cell phone, try banging something. Make as much noise as you can, yelling for help. But you want to do this sooner, not later. A lot of people tell me that when they fall, the biggest thing that they feel is shame. They don't want to be seen this way. They don't want their family members or their friends or even the paramedics to find them on the floor. And so they wait, they hesitate, they delay calling 911. If this happens to you and you're injured and you don't feel that you can use either of the 2 methods I showed you to get up off the ground, then I highly recommend that you call 911 as quickly as you can. And if you can't do that, then you have to find a way to get help. Banging on a door with something metal or banging on your pipes, that makes a lot of noise and can definitely bring people's attention to you and hopefully help you get rescued. But the last thing you want is to spend hours or even a day on the floor, because we know that that can definitely endanger someone's life. So the last thing I'll say about this is if you can get up with the first method, that's definitely the ideal method, and I hope that works. If the second method doesn't work, at the very least, try to find a way to get up off of the cold floor. Even if you just have 1 cushion and you can sit on top of that, that's better than laying on the floor for hours on end until help arrives. So if this happens to you, I hope you're able to get back up again. But definitely, it is possible to prevent falls with balanced, challenging activities. And my channel shows you many different ways that you can prevent falls. If you like this video, please subscribe to see more of my videos.